Okay, that's it. We're recording. Everything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law.
Cool. Are you planning to edit this at all, or are you just gonna upload it as the whole thing?
Woo! I edit nothing.
Not even gonna trim it down. So if I say something really like salacious, you're not gonna be able to cut
Woo!
it out.
I mean, if you say something terrible, I guess I could go back and highlight it.
I don't think that's gonna happen. But I might say something stupid. That could happen.
I don't think you could ever do that. And nobody who's making core could ever make a mistake.
I looked at my fucking. I looked at my notepad full of bugs I'm literally looking at right now that need to be fixed.
You have a notepad of bugs?
You know what? It's not actually bugs at the moment. I was going through and like I was doing my personal playthrough of what I've created so far yesterday, and I came across a lot of bugs. Most of them are pretty easy to fix, but now it's just stuff that I'm like not sure about. Like I might, it's like tuning things. Like this might need to be nerfed, or you might be getting too much experience and shit like that.
Mm.
Can I say swear words? Can I say shit?
Yeah, you could say shit.
Because a lot of people won't let you do that on YouTube anymore because the algorithm's weird.
I have no idea what the algorithm is doing.
I've watched many of my favorite channels bend and break
Just
to serve the algorithm.
striked down
Yeah,
by the mighty hand.
pretty
Um,
much.
I guess to make more sense to new people, we should introduce ourselves.
Oh, Jesus, you go first.
All right, I will go first. Hopefully, that'll make yours easier.
That's why I said it.
um, I am obviously Lewmoth. That's my alias. My real name is Draven. You don't have to say your real name, but it's just what I start with for
Yeah,
whatever
my
reason.
real name is Goatstool.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I would name my kid that.
I unironically would.
I would never. If my significant other, never mind.
Well, they're the other person. They're never gonna let me do it, so I don't have to worry. I can say it as a joke because I know that no one will ever let me name a child that.
A
So I
jest.
never have to be like put to the test on that kind of statement.
My name is Lewmoth. I am a composer, sound designer for video games, mostly indie dev titles at the moment. And this fine gentleman next to me in cyberspace is Goadstool, obviously, but we're making Core, which is I would personally describe it as like a trading card RPG. How would you describe it?
Um, I wouldn't really describe it as a card game, but it is card shaped. It's more of like a I would just call it like a Game Boy style turn based RPG,
Game Boy
pretty
style,
much
turn
semi turn
based.
based RPG.
Hell yeah.
It's what I like to say is it's turn based game with an execution factor. So like you choose your attacks based on like a turn based system, but whenever it comes time to actually do the attack, then you have to execute a combo, and the quicker you do it, the better your attack is. So there's it's not just turn based. There's a speed and a skill factor.
Yeah, that's the most interesting part to me. Obviously, uh, it, people have played card games and people have played like action RPGs, but I haven't really seen or played a game that I can remember that sort of combines the deck building with the sort of half pseudo action, pseudo turn based mechanics into
Well,
one.
it's kind of one game that people often refer to when I describe it to them in greater detail is like the Paper Mario games. I
Yes,
don't know if you've ever played those,
I
but yeah,
love
like
those games.
I've never played one, but I've watched people play them, and I can see why people like them. But yeah, in Paper Mario, of course, it's you pick an attack, and then each attack has its own mini game that you then have to do to execute the attack. And the better you do at that mini game, the better your attack is. And of course, kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but instead of a mini game, it's like a fighting game combo. Just a series of buttons you just got to nail real fast.
Yeah, in Paper Mario, there like whenever you do a special attack, there are situations where they ask you to input a certain amount of commands in a certain amount of time. But
Yeah.
And a lot of those, you either get the attack or you don't. But some of them, they give you like a little bit if you do a little bit. So it varies. But yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Um, so do,
Visually, it looks a lot like Pokemon. Like it's very very closely based on Pokemon and
yeah,
just Game Boy games in general. It even uses the original Game Boy resolution, which is not a standard resolution now. Um, it's nearly a square. So if anybody ever streams Core, or if you look at it on like the Steam page or whatever, there are going to be those big black bars on the sides, which a lot of people will shy away from. But I just wanted to keep it true to that Game Boy look.
uh, I just I just blanked out.
It's all right.
My brain just went full
We can fix
desperacy.
it in post, right?
Nope. There is no postman. It's all about the current and the new.
That's fine.
If I get never mind. um did you play any of the Paper Mario games?
No, well, I think I might have played one of them way like the first one way back in the day a little bit. I might have actually rented it from like a Blockbuster or something. But I think I also rented some other like really good game that grabbed my attention more, like maybe one of the Smash games or something, like way back in the day. Probably the first Smash.
Smash Bros Melee, maybe.
It would have been the first one, I think.
Okay. They did you get this from Blockbuster or
Yeah, yeah, we used to go to Blockbuster all the time.
they had Nintendo 64s at Blockbuster?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know when like Blockbuster stopped whatever getting new stuff. I'm pretty sure they kept up right until the end. But no, yeah. I mean, we used to go all the time. Super Nintendo through the Nintendo 64, PS1 era. I think that's when I stopped. I don't really remember like renting any like GameCube or PlayStation 2 games from Blockbuster. I know they kept going after that, but
That's
that's
when
when
I
I stopped
started.
going. Oh, okay.
Is when I
Well,
had
I mean, yeah.
GameCube and PS2 games.
Well, there were a lot of PS2 games,
Yes.
so you could get a lot of like mileage out of your Blockbuster card.
It always amazed me how many PS2 games there were.
So many.
Such an immense amount. Um yeah, I had my grandma worked at Blockbuster for a little bit, so I would go with her on her shift and just literally hang out at Blockbuster for the entirety of her shift.
That's dope. I used to do that with GameStop. I would hang out at GameStop and like they would have like a they'd have whatever the new hot game was on their little display, and I would literally just hang out there and talk to the employees and like body everybody in Tekken all day.
Hell yeah.
Until there was one guy who came in who actually knew how to play Tekken, and he just destroyed me. That felt pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I had that moment where it was like, either I need to actually get good at this game, or I need to stop doing this.
I played I played against someone like that, but it was at GameStop too, and it was Guitar Hero 3.
Oh yeah.
And I was really, really good at Guitar Hero, but there was and I know it's going to sound silly, but I swear to God that there was a lag on the TV. And so
I,
what
that does happen, I think, especially with those like those store display versions of
it
the game.
doesn't make sense to me. Why it's like a regular TV, a regular Xbox, a regular Guitar Hero copy. Why would there be lag?
Well, sometimes they're not regular copies. Sometimes they're like for promotional only copies, the promotional copies of the game or the controller or whatever.
It's that's very dumb. Who's going to sit in the GameStop and play the entirety of the game and then just be like, "Oh, well, would have been cooler if they had like a demo version instead."
You know, I will tell you my saddest GameStop story ever,
I'm ready.
which was my mom used to work at a mall, and so me and my brother would go to a GameStop in this mall because she had to drag us to her work every day. And I remember it was after the first Halo had come out, so I was really young. And me and my brother went to this GameStop, and they had the display where you could play, the famous like beach landing. I forget which exact stage it is, but the most popular stage of Halo One. And me and my brother would go in and play. And I remember we were just hanging out, playing the game. We had nothing else to do, and the employee literally just walked up as me and my brother were playing it and unplugged it.
What the hell?
He didn't say anything. He just walked up, pulled the plug, and walked away.
Why did he do this?
I don't know. I guess we were being maybe loud or annoying or something. I don't know. I just remember being like, oh, okay, guess we'll leave.
He unplugged that shit.
He just pulled it. I was like, oh, okay.
Life support over.
Yeah. It still makes me a little bit sad. But, we were probably being pretty loud and annoying. You know how, like, kids are.
A little rambunctious.
So, yeah.
Getting a little rowdy at the Halo kiosk.
Yeah, you can't have noise in your GameStop. That'll destroy your business. So
It's like a library.
Yeah, nobody talks in the GameStop.
Except you get paid even less.
God. I don't know if we want to have that conversation while we're being recorded.
Oh yeah, I forgot you worked at GameStop.
Oh yeah, I did. That's not what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, yes. I did. I had
not the worst place I've worked, but
I put in a few, like you knew, I put in a few applications to GameStop. I also put a few into the Exchange, if you've heard of that.
What is that?
They basically just, it's like GameStop, but
is that where they have like old school stuff too?
Yeah.
They, like, take trades and all that.
Yeah, there's like PS2 games on the shelf that you can buy. It's crazy.
I think I've been in one of those. Those are dope.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I had an idea just now of the game that we're making, Core. I thought I could play like a little snippet of some of our favorite songs from the soundtrack so far. Give people a taste of what's going on, I guess.
Sure, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm just... So you said your favorite song in the soundtrack was which one so far?
It's still probably the Rival theme, honestly. I really like that one a lot.
Rival theme. I'm looking that up on my computer so they'll be able to see the actual project folder as it's playing. So, cool. It should be cool beans. I have all the songs that I've written for the game. It first says Core in them and then the name of the song, so it's extremely convenient to look up the songs in my computer.
I imagine there's a lot because you get so many commissions.
Oh, I mean, I could always use more.
It's fair.
All right, I'm gonna play it at half volume and see how loud that is. You can't hear that, can you?
Nope.
I did not take that into account.
I do know the song, though, so...
Right. Well, whoever's watching will be able to hear it, and I'll just tell you when it's over. Well, I'm not going to play the whole song. I'm just going to play, like, a little snippet of it.
Go for
it. Playing now. So if you could just use your imagination.
I actually pulled it up in Game Maker and played a little bit of it.
Oh hell yeah! So yeah, that song, when I was writing that, I just had Donkey Kong on the mind. Donkey Kong was in my brain. He was possessing my brain when I was writing that.
It is really Donkey Kong. It's really. What's the name of that song for the first stage?
Jungle Japes.
Jungle Japes. I don't know why I can't remember that. Yes, very Jungle Japes.
Probably because one of the words isn't even English.
I guess so.
I don't.
I think jape is it's like a joke or
A goof,
yeah,
a gaff.
I believe so.
I guess that makes sense. Uh, I was trying to think of what my favorite song so far was, and I always go back to the overworld theme.
The first one.
Yeah, I just really liked how it turned out. I'm very proud of it. But for the people watching, it was the first sort of town theme, I guess you
It was
could.
the second one you commissioned for the game, I think, right after the
Yeah,
title.
yeah. Um, it was a. If I could put it like simply, it was a town theme.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Um, Game Boy town theme. I broke some of the Game Boy rules with it,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah. It's
but
like I think I said whenever I commissioned you, you asked me if it needed to sound like totally like faithful to the Game Boy sound, and
right.
I'm obviously breaking a lot of rules in terms of what you could have programmed on a Game Boy and visually done. So that's why I was like, it doesn't need to be 100% Game Boy. It can break rules. It can have some effects you wouldn't find on a Game Boy.
He
As long as it,
cheats so I can
yeah,
cheat too.
exactly. It's not supposed to be, totally like faithful. I'm not planning to release this on a Game Boy cartridge or anything,
That
so it can bend the rules.
that would be kind of lit.
It would be.
Not worth it though.
I it would be worth doing if I could just like not change anything about the game. I didn't want to bend the game too much to be able to fit on a Game Boy cartridge.
Right. I'm just gonna play a snippet of the overworld theme, and trying to think if there's anything else about it. I guess isn't this technically a route theme?
It plays. Yeah, it's I have difficulty describing the maps, but if you want to relate it to Pokemon, which I try not to do too much, but it's just easier that way. It's kind of like it plays over the area that would encompass like Pallet Town, like your first town, and then the first couple routes in
Yeah.
Pokemon. That's basically the space of the game that this song takes up.
All right. Here is the overworld theme, and also the project, so you can have a look at it. So yeah, that's that.
I like it because it's very first town. I mean, it fits the theme really well.
Yeah,
Sets the stage.
it's a little more somber than a first town would be, I think. But I think the game itself uh, has like it's definitely not all happy. There's a very oppressive tone, I think.
Yeah, in some places it's usually more of a subtext, but yeah, totally. A lot of games, like the kinds of games that Core is based on, are pretty sterile. I find in terms of their like dialogue and interactions with things,
Unable to have children.
that sort of thing. Yeah. Just very like this is a bookshelf, this is a bowl, like whenever
Right.
you interact with stuff or talk to people, that's the kind of stuff you get.
Yeah.
Core has a little bit more flavor to it, and it's kind of my voice kind of narrating these things, and so there's a little bit more of a twist to it, and that's why I was asking you to put those kind of somber like minor keys and things like that into the soundtrack, because it's a little bit quirky, I guess.
It's a little wild, a little stinky sometimes, but it's good stinky.
It's kind of more like like Earthboundy in its tone than like Pokemon-y in terms of its just interaction and stuff.
I really like the wiggle weed.
Everybody likes a wiggle weed.
Everybody like a good wiggle weed.
I'm really happy with that. Was one of the first things I did. That was when I was first started because I guess I this is a good place for me to say this. When I started doing this, I didn't know anything about pixel art or programming or anything, and the wiggle weed was one of the very first things that I had to animate, if not the first. And it turned out so well. It looks so clearly like whatever a wiggle weed is that I was just so happy with it.
The lore of the wiggle weed. Could you send me a GIF of the wiggle weed? Is that possible?
It, it's possibly possible. Give me a sec.
So we can show the fine people at home, what a wiggle weed.
I can try. I don't know if I have a already like separate from the tile set version of it, but I'll see if I can pull it. It'll take me a moment though. This is turning out to be a little easier than I thought it was.
What?
Getting this wiggle weed. GIF, whatever.
Wiggle weed is never far from when you need it.
I say GIF still, and I find that more and more people get upset about that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I guess that's my controversial statement for that. I still say GIF, and I notice fewer and fewer people say GIF, and like people get real mad when you say GIF.
The viewers are loading their guns.
I remember when I was like 6 or 7 and I first heard the word, and it was GIF, and like I think I heard like 2 instances of people saying GIF until I was like 20 or so, and then all of a sudden everybody was saying GIF. I was like, oh, I can't live at this speed.
I say GIF.
Most people do. I find it's like 90% or more.
I wonder if the creator of GIF.
Oh, he says it's GIF.
Oh.
That's technically the correct way to say it, but
oh no.
Yeah.
I guess my life is a lie then.
Everybody has long since decided that they don't care. They'll just say GIF anyway. But I say GIF, and it doesn't bother me when anybody says GIF. Live and let live. Oh, this is animating way too fast. Let me slow this down a little bit.
You told me.
Wiggle weeds are extra wiggly.
Oh Lord. Might have a lawsuit on your hands. You told me yesterday a very interesting fact about yourself.
Which one?
The one where you said you have never touched a drop of alcohol in your life.
Well, I've touched a drop. I've had sips, but you know, like anybody who's only had sips of beer, it just tastes like pee.
Piss.
Yeah, I didn't really like it, but that's not why I don't drink it. I don't like the idea of being drunk very much.
You get a little wild, little controversial.
Well, no, it's well, I don't know, maybe I've never been drunk, but the reason why I don't do it is because I have a pretty addictive personality. I've had a problem with weight specifically since I was really young.
Yeah, I hate waiting.
I'm just starting to finally like lose weight.
I'm so impatient.
For the first time in my adult life, I'm starting to lose weight, and it's taken me like decades to get on top of this, and I don't need like a new problem to get like addicted to and then have to like worry about, because right now it's easy. I don't know what it's like to be drunk, so I don't know if it's something that I'm gonna like lust for all the time. I just don't have to think about it. Whereas if I did it and I liked it, then it would be this whole fucking problem that I'd have to grapple with.
Yeah.
Which is a lame thing to say. I understand. I should be able to nut up and get drunk.
No.
I probably will someday, honestly. I just you know, at least until I get my weight in check, I don't need a new problem.
Drinking usually leads to gaining weight.
Yeah, that too.
So yeah, probably not the best idea for someone who's trying to lose weight.
Here's a couple wiggle weeds
Oh,
for you.
there it is. You lied.
About what?
It's in here. I was I was waiting in your DMs for it.
Oh, my bad.
No, 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 no. Okay, the wiggle weeds. They're wiggling. What? Uh, had you thought of maybe like whenever the weeds get closer to you, they wiggle faster? Would that be stupid?
Not stupid. No, I've thought about a number of things with the wiggle weeds because they look very like interactable.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe like when you step on them, they'd kind of like grab you, but
Oh,
not like in a terrifying way. They'd kind of like a gentle like it would kind of hold you in place for like a second,
like
and then you walk past.
a chakra massage maybe.
Something
Uh,
just something light,
uh,
just like they grab you and they stop you from moving for like a
a
second or something.
tickle your toes.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off.
But the thing with the wiggle weeds is that they're part of the tile set. They're not actually an
Oh,
object. So in order to like mess with them, it would have to be a whole other
yeah.
thing. So I don't know. Maybe that'll be in the sequel.
Yeah, that's it. I always thought that when people made things in Game Maker, uh apparently whenever they want something to be like not something that you can move into, they like everything's visual and then they put down blocks that are like you can't move into the block, like an invisible block to block things off.
There, I mean, Game Maker's pretty like it's pretty versatile. You can have things be like things can have collision to them and be visible at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Usually whenever I want to do something like that, I actually import a specific like if it's going to be a tile like a door, for example. If I need a door to change from a locked door to a open door and have that be a visual thing, I'll import that door tile as a separate object and then like manipulate it that way. But otherwise, yeah, it's basically it's part of the tile set, so it's just painted on. It's like a background, and all the collision is invisible walls, which is on another layer.
It's just every tutorial I've ever watched on Game Maker, they always everything's visual, and then they go back and they plop down little blocks of of mass, the invisible mass, onto the thing that they already drew on. And I just thought that was such a not efficient way of doing collisions in your game.
It depends on what you're doing. It is efficient in like I do it in core for most things because it's just having an invisible wall is a lot easier than like going through and meticulously having like all these objects because each object has its own code, and the more code an object has will weigh down your game a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just an invisible wall and all it does is a collision, then you don't have to worry about any of the coding issues that go with that.
If I want it to do literally anything else besides blocking the player's path,
Yeah.
I have to make it its own block and then do the code for that and then hope that I can match up the animation of the sprite that's under the invisible block to what's actually happening on screen.
Well, in that case, you'd probably bind the sprite or animation or whatever to the actual
Well,
collision.
you're
Yeah.
getting a little too fancy for me. I don't know what binding.
Oh, it just means at that point you would give the sprite a collision instead of it being an invisible wall, and you would just code the sprite instead of an invisible wall.
The gift of God.
Yeah, but it's also that Game Maker has this built-in like really robust tiling system. It's designed to let you tile stuff, and the tiling does not inherently have walls that has to be put in separately.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you wouldn't want to like skip out on this excellent tiling system that they've built just so that you can tie your collisions to all these tile.
Yeah. Do you have a particular video on Twitter that you are proud of for the gameplay of Core?
Well, there's the one I have pinned right now, which is the combat one, which helps people kind of see what the actual like gameplay looks like, which is always good. It's also not terribly compressed by
Would you
Twitter.
be interested in DMing that to me on here so I could play it and show them?
I don't know if I still have the actual file. Let me check.
Oh, no, no, no. You could just link the actual Twitter link
I'll
to
link
me.
the tweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I might have the video. That might be a little bit better, maybe.
Silly programmers always trying to do things the hardest way possible.
That does happen. I'm a pretty bad programmer, though.
Well, I think you'll get a pass considering this is the first game you've commercially programmed.
But I'm kind of wedded to the idea of being a bad programmer. I don't have any interest in, like, some people will go nuts with their coding,
They go
and
nuts deep.
they're really interested in like the very concept of coding, and they'll get better at, they're obsessed with making their code as efficient
Yeah,
and clean as possible.
I like that.
And yeah, see, that's not me, dude. I will code it in whatever way works that makes sense to me at the time, and if I can make it clean and look good, to my ability, then I will do that.
Well,
But I'm not going to go out of my way to learn some hyper efficient way of coding, because I'm just not that interested in coding, to be honest with you. I do it exclusively to make video games I want to make, and that's it.
well, usually it's like you code something like spaghetti code, and then later you're like, oh, I have a chance to make this look really nice and be more efficient, and then that's when they do it. They don't really go in there uh, like first few lines of code thinking, well, how can I make this the most efficient starting out?
Well, some people do. I think it depends on what you're doing.
Some
And
people.
I have done that. Let me reassure people who are theoretically going, like two people who are theoretically listening to this and going to play my game. I have gone back and cleaned up code a lot, so I'm not. It's not a complete mess in there, and it's organized. It's just not very like galaxy brain. It's pretty straightforward.
Huge brain. Well, I'm going to play this video that you have so graciously handed us.
I did not watch that all the way through, so I hope that's the right
Uh-oh.
video. But it should be. Yeah, it looks good to me.
Is there anything you want to say before I play the video, I guess?
It's combat. It's a combat little short combat display. So that's pretty much just the context of what it is.
All right, here we go.
It's just like it's a battle with your rival here, one of your rivals, Donbert.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, as you can see, it's exactly what I was saying. You pick your attack, and then when it's your turn, you do the combo as quick as you can. And the quicker you do, the better it'll rank.
Yeah, this is great. It's funny because as you were explaining all that, I've been watching the video.
Oh yeah, I figured.
So they could hear you like speaking as it's actually happening on screen. It was kind of cool.
That was my plan.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
That's another thing I didn't mention. It has this buff debuff system, assuming the video is still playing.
Yes.
You can see Donbert's got quite a lot of little icons next to his name. Those are buffs and debuffs. The plus is next to the icon in the middle is a buff, and the minus sign on all the other ones is that they're a debuff. And there's, in addition to being 48 attacks in the game, there's dozens of debuffs that all do different things, like just damage over time, impede your stats, buff your damage, all kinds of stuff like that. So a lot of RPGs, they'll only let you have like one buff or debuff at a time, but Core lets you have 6, and you can manipulate that in all kinds of ways. It'll change the way that you choose your attacks. It'll change the way that you build your loadout, your deck, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an element of strategy on top of the execution. It's not just about nailing the attacks.
Right. Yep, we're coming up on the end of the video here.
Yeah, it doesn't go through all the fight. It's just to show a few attacks, what it looks like, and my wonderful transition into battle that I spent like a day animating.
I never noticed how it shows the buffs on the left of the HP bar. I don't know why. It didn't occur to me.
I don't think I do it in this video, but you can actually, like, whenever you're on the attack select screen, like between turns, you can actually press up and down, and it'll scroll up to the debuffs, and you can read their tooltip, and it'll tell you exactly what they're doing.
Oh,
It'll help a lot with strategizing.
Big strat.
And every attack has a tooltip so that you can figure out what they do. Every single attack is unique. There's no two attacks like in Pokemon, for example. You'll have like two attacks that are exactly the same, but they're like a different type, so they have that kind of type difference.
Yeah.
There's not really the same thing in Core, but each attack is unique. In that, no two attacks are exactly the same,
Right.
which is literally what unique means. So I guess I didn't need to add that.
Um. Yeah. The is the game. Would you say that the game is difficult?
Well, that's a tough question. Yes, I would say it's somewhat difficult. It depends on how you define difficulty, though. You're not going to steamroll every enemy you come across in core. That's not the intent, anyway. The intent is to tune it so that you defeat most enemies pretty easily. Um, they'll still put up a fight sometimes. You might lose every now and then, but most enemies you're gonna pretty much dunk on. But your rivals, you'll probably lose once or twice to them when you battle them. And then bosses, you might lose up to like 5 times. But there's no serious penalty to losing. If you lose to a boss, for example, you'll just get ejected from combat and just get to go right back at them. You just get to try again. So it's not brutally hard. It's not like a roguelike or whatever where you lose a bunch of progress and you have to go back really far. But you will lose battles and have to try again.
I,
Because I find games where you're just going through and steamrolling everything tend to be really boring. You don't want a game to be. I don't want a game to be too ridiculously hard and punishing, where you're losing a lot of time in real life, and then it gets really repetitive and just agonizing. Um, I like games where there's enough difficulty that you're probably going to lose every now and then, and it's going to challenge what you've been, kind of mindlessly your strategy that you've been relying on the whole way through, and the kind of level you're at. It's going to challenge that and push you to do a little bit better, push you to strategize a little bit better, and push you to execute a little bit better.
yeah. I think that's probably the best way to go about difficulty. Is have the player constantly learning.
Yeah, and that's it's a difficult concept because everybody's different. Some people are probably going to find a way to go through and just ace my game the first time through. I'm trying not to get too obsessed about that. Um, I've also been thinking about adding in an easy mode, which I might do. Some people have been really begging me to do that. Um, I'm not sure if I will yet. I'm still conflicted about it.
Mm. Yeah. When I first, I just played the rival. Actually, in that video that you sent, I was playing against the rival. Like a week or two ago,
Mhm.
and I got so close to beating him the first time, and then I lost, and then I did worse every new time that I did. Uh,
Yeah, well, you were being kind of thrown into the deep end. That video
yeah,
is kind of like almost halfway through the game,
yeah.
so yeah.
That's definitely fair that I was having trouble because I didn't have the experience of the entire half of the game. But I even though I hadn't played that first half of the game, I felt like I understood everything pretty soon as I started playing. So
Yeah, I have a little bit of a hard time describing the combat of the game sometimes because it's hard to visualize because they say you're supposed to have an elevator pitch, right? Describe your game to me like in like
right.
15 seconds. And I can do that, but it doesn't really, visualize what the game is. But as soon as you see like that video and you see what's happening, it just clicks immediately. Like this is
Hmm.
what the game is. It's pretty straightforward. You'll be able to learn it. It's just a matter of practice as to, you know, getting good.
I always go towards the card game thing. I say it's a card game, uh, but there's some like live action RPG elements to it, and that's like I guess that's my elevator pitch whenever I pitch it to other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I abandoned the card game label like pretty early in development.
He hates it.
But I don't hate it. It was going to be a card game. Like it was straight up going to be like Tetramaster from Final
Straight
Fantasy
up.
IX. Like it was going to be a full on card game. It wasn't even going to be much of an RPG. It was going to be like Like
It wasn't even going to be a game.
it was it was gonna be more like the Pokemon trading card game, or even like those. I played a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon games that came out on like the PlayStation, where it was like there was no like there was very little, if any, physical element of walking around in the game. You were just going from card battle to card battle, and that's what it was going to be originally. But then I decided to make it more into an RPG, and it just kind of developed into this turn-based combat kind of thing.
Mm. Yeah, there was a part in my life where I was like, I want to make a game. I'm going to try to make a game. So I downloaded Game Maker and I got decently far into a prototype. And the idea of the game was you were a detective and it was an RPG and you would fight ghosts throughout the game. But the reason for being a detective is every attack that you did, it's kind of hard to explain, but you didn't really have attacks. You had items that you picked from the world in the game, and when you got an item, you could either do like one of three things with each item at an enemy. So let's say you're fighting a ghost and you have a piece of cake, a mirror, and a knife. It would be your turn, and then you would go to well, first of all, you would listen to what the ghost said, and then you find like what their weakness is, and then you would go to the mirror, show them the mirror, and there would be three options. You could either bribe them with the mirror, show them the mirror, or I forget what the third option I had in there was, but the way to solve it was you would listen to what the ghost said. The ghost was self-conscious, so you would take your mirror and then show them the mirror, and then that would kill the ghost, and then that's kind of how the gameplay would go. As
It's kind of Undertale-y.
kind of, uh, it was
It's like combat without actually fighting them.
yeah.
Like you're figuring out how to beat them as the battle goes on.
And the more items you got, the more complicated things would be, and you would have to learn more about your ghost partners. Well, not partners, the people you were fighting, and there'd be things in the overworld, people you would talk to find out different ghosts' weaknesses, because they wouldn't just say it out loud. You would have to like do some detective work and find out what this ghost's weakness is, and then use the appropriate item in the appropriate way to kill them.
It's cool. I could see that game having a fan base.
Thank you. There is a there's a little actually snippet of it on YouTube where I was filming the prototype. I'll send you a link to it. I'm gonna look it up right now on my old ass channel. Here it is. Footage of a game I will never finish making. And I was right. Because I never finished it.
Most people don't. I mean, I downloaded Game Maker I think 3 times and started messing with it. You know, before this time when I actually started doing it. I think most people kind of grab it. They watch the tutorial. You know, they kind of expand on their tutorial a little bit, and then
I'm gonna play the video on my end so they can see it too. So I'll be right back.
I'll watch it too.
Okay. So, yeah.
Music is dope, of course. I like the way he runs, that anime run.
Oh, yeah. The anime run. Classic.
You animate that too?
I did. I animated everything. I did the art for everything, the music, obviously, the sound, the everything.
Looks good.
Thanks. Uh, but yeah, that was. I didn't even code in the part where you kill him yet. It was just that's all I had gotten. But
I mean, people. It sounds like you know when you say that, it sounds like oh, you didn't even get very far. But people underestimate how much work this
it
is. I
was.
know I did. Like before I started actually doing making a game and coding it, like I knew it would be a lot of work, but it's like the amount of setup
Mm-hmm.
and interacting systems that you have to build before you can do even the most basic stuff.
Yeah.
It's so time consuming.
I was especially proud of the pumpkin enemy sprite animation thing.
It looked cool.
He's like a stack of pumpkins, and they're
Maybe over a stack of pumpkins right now.
bleeding, bleeding pumpkin stacks. Yeah, I haven't eaten today or drank. Well, I had coffee. That was it.
You should get some food, dude. I had
Yeah,
ramen.
I definitely should. I was actually thinking of going to get Subway. I love Subway.
Subway's all right.
All right.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm not
Oh,
a big sandwich guy. I know that's weird. I'm not a big on sandwiches for some reason. It's the bread. You know, honestly, it's the bread.
Christ.
I don't like bread that much. It's too
That's
much.
insane.
I mean, I'll eat a sandwich. They're okay, but you know, if I'm going somewhere to get something, it's probably not gonna be a sandwich.
Bread is delicious.
Yeah, I know people like bread. There's that question. It's like, what would you rather give up? Bread, rice.
Bread or
Uh,
your left arm.
it's like bread, rice, or pasta. I think. Like if you had to only eat one of them, which one would it be? For me, it would probably be rice.
Rice. Yeah, rice is good. Uh, I love burgers. So every time I go to, most times I go to a restaurant, I'm getting a burger usually, and some fries, and the burger has jalapenos on it, and I get like a sody pop. I usually get a. Are you a Pepsi or a Coke guy?
If I have to pick, I usually go with Coke.
Okay.
I'm good either way, though. Honestly.
Yeah, I think everyone in the world can kind of agree that Coke is. I think everyone secretly loves Coke more than Pepsi, but if Coke is not available, we are more than happy to suck on some Pepsi juice.
Well, I drink diet stuff. So like the thing with Pepsi is that supposedly it has even more sugar than Coke.
Oh.
So so when you take out the sugar part of Pepsi, which is the whole point of Pepsi, and make it diet, it's like way worse
Hmm.
than like diet Coke is. That has been my experience.
I've also seen people dissolve teeth in Coke.
Great.
So, yeah. Now, if I drink like a sody pop, I immediately wash my teeth afterwards.
Yeah, I usually brush my teeth after I eat
Did I just say
fish.
wash my teeth?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm. I'm gonna leave everything else in the video, but I'm gonna go and edit that out.
No, you should leave it in. It'll catch on. This video will blow up, dude, and everybody's gonna start saying it.
It's gonna get humongous.
I didn't even get to say my power metal story.
Do you want to do that now?
Well, now it's like it's set up and it's awkward. It's not like we're having a natural conversation about it, you
Power
know?
metal, power metal, power metal. There.
I was listening to this power metal album, whatever.
No.
Whenever you were asking me if I wanted to do this interview,
Right.
and I listened to a lot of power metal albums, and most of them are not that good.
Mm.
I've found I do like power metal, but most of them are just not. It's like any genre of music, you know. There's a lot of bands out there, and most of them are not going to be to your liking, even if you like the genre.
If you had to
But
describe power metal,
oh yeah, it's what it sounds like. It's metal that's like really fast. It's usually pretty symphonic. It's got like high pitched vocals. It's high energy, fast metal. It's not going to be like your death like grunge metal, where it's like really slow and grindy. It's like really high speed, intricate metal. Lots of intense guitar solos. Dragon Force is probably the most famous power metal
Yeah,
band.
I know them.
Yeah, everybody knows Dragon. I love Dragon Force. But yeah, I was listening to this song, and you asked me if I wanted to do this interview, and I agreed to it, and I said I would come into this Discord channel to have this talk. And right whenever I did that, the album like kicked up and started sounding real good.
God.
And I was like, oh, I have to sit and listen to this, but I have to go do this interview chat now. I'm gonna have to table it.
I ruin everything.
It was, honestly, it was a little bit of a buzzkill, but you know what? It'll be there. It'll be there when we're done.
His high was gone. Oh, you like that?
Yeah, I
I
love
just
incredibly loud engine sounds.
just
It's the coolest.
revved up my motorcycle in my living room. It's very small. um yeah, I'm not a huge fan of metal. There's some metal that I like, and I'm kind of basic because some of the Metallica songs that I like, even though they're giant douchebags, I still like some of their songs.
Yeah, I mean, I find most people will like some music in any genre.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people will say, it's either like country or rap music they don't like,
Yeah.
or something like that. There's a few country songs I like. I don't know if I could name any off the top of my head.
Country.
Oh, like that "Devil Goes Down to Georgia" song.
Yep.
Everybody loves that song,
Yeah.
dude.
That's a banger.
Yeah,
All
there's,
around.
there's exceptions no matter what.
Yeah. So, yeah, I stole the power metal joy from you.
It'll be all right. I'll get over it.
Power metal reminds me of Kingdom Hearts.
Why is that?
It doesn't. I just wanted to talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I haven't played a Kingdom Hearts game since the first one came out. I liked, my favorite part of that game was the gummy ship thing.
Did you play the second one?
I don't think I did. Which, I liked the first one a fair bit. I really liked the tournament or whatever, where you could go fight all the bosses and stuff.
Hercules.
Yeah, when you beat
Olympia.
Sephiroth in the tournament mode, it's so satisfying.
I never beat Sephiroth.
Oh my god, I remember sweating.
Yeah.
I remember putting like a whole day into.
You have to grind. You have to grind so much to beat Sephiroth in any of those games.
Yeah,
because they had him in the second one, and he was even more difficult.
Yeah, you'd expect so.
Yeah, I guess that's what a sequel is supposed to do, right?
I never played any after the first one.
I
liked the first one enough, but I don't know, the concept kind of worth it on me pretty quick.
There's a package deal on PlayStation Store that I bought a few weeks ago where I got Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, Chain of Memories, and like 2 or 3 other Kingdom Hearts games, and it was all for $30, and I was so happy.
Nice.
Insane deal. It's like
pretty dope.
It's like if you got, what games do you like?
I don't know, dude. I think of Mega Man Legacy Collection, where you get like all the original Mega Man games. I got that when I was like 12, and I played all of them and loved it.
I'm not a huge fan of Mega Man.
That's fine. I mean, I'll never be someone to criticize someone for liking or not liking something.
Oh, I do.
Even if it's something I hate.
I definitely do.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all subjective, and I realize that I like a lot of really goofy things. So, yeah.
To me, I'm trying to think of one of the games that if I hear someone say that they really like, I would actually judge them for it.
Are you gonna say that while we're being recorded? Because then people will get mad at you.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because I have one that I have with that. I have that reaction to.
Let's hear it.
No, I can't say it because it's beloved and people will get mad. No, like people will boycott. The 3 people who are going to go buy my game from hearing this are not going to buy it if I trash talk this game.
I guess I'll try to think of what mine is then, because I know there's one. The first Zelda game, I wasn't too like.
Well, did you play that recently? Because I saw you asking about it on
Yeah,
Twitter.
I'm. Every time I try to go back to play it, I don't know. It's not that fun to me. It just
I mean,
seems it,
yeah,
it seems like a lawless. Okay, okay, so I understand the game's supposed to be about adventure and stuff, but
it's kind of not though, because they sell it that way. It's like that's what they say about it. It's open. You
holy
start
shit.
and then you just go. Nobody tells you there's a quest or anything. You're just doing stuff, and it's really not that open because there's a specific sequence in which you have to do shit. It's just nobody tells you what that sequence is,
Yeah, it.
and some of the stuff is pretty convoluted. It's I had that experience with the original Metroid, where I got to a point where like the place you're supposed to go is just this random like tile on the wall that you're supposed to blow up, and there's like nothing. It's not a different tile or anything. There's nothing to indicate that that's where you're supposed to go. And I remember like having I wanted to play it without a guide, and I was playing this game for hours, and I was really dedicated to beating it. And I got to that part where it's like, okay, now go to this random part of the ground and blow up the floor and go in here. And I was like, I'm out.
Give us your social security number and kill your mom and
Yeah, Samus needs your help. Enter the
God,
first three or last four digits of your mom's credit card here.
hell yeah. And get this new suit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Metroid, I like Zelda, but yeah, going back to play those old games, it's like especially those adventure kind of games, you really got to be ready to consult the guidebook.
Pokemon aged like fine wine.
That's true. I think that's partly because it was designed for like 5 year olds to beat it, but so was Zelda, I guess. Yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure.
I I if you make an easy game, that doesn't mean it's going to be good automatically, of course.
No, that's true, but that's I think that's one of the reasons why Pokemon holds up because in that era when Pokemon came out, that was like what mid 90s. There and
Yeah.
before, a lot of games were just unnecessarily not just hard but convoluted. Like you really couldn't figure out what you were
Yeah.
supposed to do,
So
and it was to artificially prolong the
mhm.
gameplay.
Yeah, there were developers out there. I've heard them say in interviews. They said, "Yeah, we did this so that you are forced to talk to other people to figure out how to beat the game."
Oh yeah, yeah. I always think of those the Sierra games, like the point and click adventure games, like King's Quest and Space Quest and stuff. They had what's it called, like copy protection, like copyright protection, where there would be like a code or a sequence that you would have to put in like somewhere in the game that you could only get from the guidebook that came with the game if you bought it. So
Oh, wow.
if you had just copied the game onto like a floppy disk or whatever and gave it to your friend, they wouldn't have that book and wouldn't know how to get parts past that part of the game.
But couldn't just one of your friends own the game and then you give the code like to everyone?
Yeah, I mean, it was to stop I think like early internet pirating and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a clever idea. It's just I don't see a way that you can efficiently block people from stealing your game.
It was a clever way to do it back then before like, game facts was the thing.
Yeah. You would have to program a game that accepts a code once, and you would then have to program the game to recognize what code is in the case, which is
Yeah, it would have to
impossible.
be bound. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even with modern copy protection, I mean, there are communities who crack these games. Like they do it for fun. Like it doesn't matter how tightly you try to protect your copy of the game. Like
Now, to
they'll
all the
crack.
developers and Nintendo people out there, I do not, I do
Yeah.
not condone stealing games.
I think it's one thing to steal like a big
Careful,
corporation, AAA game kind of thing. Well,
careful.
I'm just saying
Your
I'm
last
not saying
words.
I'm not saying either way is right. I'm just saying I think there's a difference between stealing, quote unquote, a copy of like a AAA game
And
and stealing
permanent
it
borrowing.
and stealing an indie game. I think there is a difference there.
Well, yeah, one you could get shot for, and the other one they just kind of, oh, thank you for stealing my game enough to like want to play it.
Yeah.
One of them, yeah. was gonna make a I was gonna make a little joke, but if Nintendo's listening,
Nintendo's always listening, dude.
oh god. Yeah, they. I mean,
Yeah, I think I've said to you, like, if I didn't care at all about making any profit off of Core, I would gladly give it away for free.
give it away now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have like bills to pay. But
Unfortunately,
if I didn't,
we
then,
live in a
then
society.
I would gladly give it away for free.
You shouldn't. You should, even if you had the ability to. I don't think you should give it away for free.
I mean, if all my basic needs were met without it, then I'd be perfectly happy to do it.
$5.
There will probably come a day where Core is like $1. You know, like it's been reduced so much that it's like it's $1. Just go play it.
Maybe. I mean, I think the game is at least worth $5. I mean, at least.
I'm planning to sell it for like 10 to
Yeah.
start. That's my plan right now.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Supply and demand. Well, we are just now passing the hour length.
Jesus.
How was it? Because I'm planning on probably ending it pretty soon so that no one's intimidated by the length of the video. But how did you think this whole thing went?
It's fine with me. I don't have any complaints.
I enjoyed it. I think it would be cool to do this with other developers that I work with too, so people can go on YouTube and just like see all the people I've worked with and see their personalities and whatnot. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, have a compendium of souls in my YouTube.
It's pretty dope when you say it like that.
Hell yeah. I'm probably going to eat after this because I haven't eaten today and it's 5:44 p.m., so it's probably a wise decision on my part.
Yeah, probably. What are you going to eat?
I am going to Subway.
Yeah, you already said that.
Yeah, so. I love Subway. I always get the spicy Italian on Italian bread, and I get the garlic sauce or whatever it is, and I get it toasted. I love pepper jack cheese. I put green peppers. I put.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a freak.
You were pretty like I was about to say that's exactly what I get right up until the peppers part.
Yeah, I just put the green peppers because it's healthy. I like the texture of it. I like how healthy it is, and the taste doesn't bother me, so I throw it on there for some extra calories because why not?
I like spicy stuff. I'm not big on green peppers, but I mean spicy stuff is good.
Green peppers aren't spicy, are they?
Not really. No, like bell peppers or whatever. Not really. Does Subway have mushrooms? They don't, do they?
If they do, I don't know because I hate mushrooms.
Usually my go-to thing is mushrooms.
God,
but,
disgusting.
Yeah.
Fungus.
Yeah, I'm that way with peppers for some reason. Like I like peppers in like all kinds of format, but like fresh peppers, I can't stand the texture. It kills me.
Well, yeah. I enjoyed talking with you. Thanks for entertaining me with the core details, and I will have to do maybe this again after the game's released, and I think that could be fun. But yeah, thanks.
Sure, I'm down.
Thanks for your time, good sir.
You betcha.
Have a good day. See ya.
Smell you later.